Il y a is a very useful little phrase. It's comprised of 3 words, il, y a, and what it means, literally translated, is it, there, has. Now you must think, well, it doesn't make sense, I don't get it. But do not worry, because all you need to remember is that il y a means there is or there are. For example, il y a un chien, there is a dog. Il y a une souris, there is a mouse. Il y a des magasins, there are shops. So what if we want to say there isn't something? Well, as we've done before, we need to use a negative form, and we're going to say ne and pas. So to turn il y a into a negative form, we need to find a verb, a, has, but you see that you've got the y, that's just before, and we're going to leave them together because they are inseparable. What we need to do next is add the ne before the verb and the pas after the verb. So we end up with il ne y a pas, there is or there are no or there isn't or there aren't any. So now we've got that little word ne. Is going to clash with the y because in French the y is considered as a vowel. So they clash. And as usual, for these 2-letter words, we're going to get rid of the e so that it makes it easier to say. Instead of saying il ne y a pas, we're going to say il n'y a pas, il n'y a pas. So we've got il y a, there is, il n'y a pas, there isn't. But we need to be able to say there isn't any or there aren't any. And for that, we need that infamous little word, de. And it means any. So here are some examples. Il y a un chien, there is a dog. Il n'y a pas de chien. No problem there. No need for an apostrophe because chien starts with a C, which is a consonant. No clash. Il y a un éléphant, there is an elephant. Il n'y a pas d'éléphant, there are no elephants. Elephant starts with an E, a vowel, so we've got to change the de into a D apostrophe. Il y a des hôtels, il n'y a pas d'hôtel because H's in French are not pronounced. One last step that you might find very useful is the use of this word, beaucoup. Beaucoup means much, many, or a lot. So il y a beaucoup means there is a lot. Il n'y a pas beaucoup means there isn't a lot. And of course is going to be followed with our infamous little word, de. And in this case it means of. So if I give you examples, il y a beaucoup de chiens, there are many dogs. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de chiens, there aren't many dogs. Il y a beaucoup d'éléphants, note that éléphant, the word elephant, starts with an E, of course, so the DE turns into a D apostrophe. Il y a beaucoup d'éléphants, and in the negative, il n'y a pas beaucoup d'éléphants. Il y a beaucoup d'hôtels, il n'y a pas beaucoup d'hôtels, because as you remember, H's are not pronounced in French and are considered almost like vowels. Let's practice. Under each green tile is a little word. It's up to you to find out which one. So I suggest you pause the video before I give the answers and give yourself some time to jot down what you think the answers are and then check. So I'm going to check the answers now, so if you want to pause, do it now. Il n'y a pas de serviettes. Il y a une souris. There is a mouse. Il n'y a pas d'enfant, because the word enfant starts with an E, which is a vowel. Il y a beaucoup de touristes. Il n'y a pas de place. Il n'y a pas beaucoup d'animation, because animation starts with an A, which is a vowel. So we understand il y a un chien, il y a une souris, il y a un enfant. But what if we wanted to ask how many there are? Now the word we need to use is combien, but annoyingly it's followed with de. Il y a combien de? Examples. Il y a combien de chiens? How many dogs are there? Il y a 2 chiens. Il y a combien de souris? How many mice are there? Il y a 3 souris. Il y a combien d'enfants? Note that we have replaced the DE with D apostrophe because enfant starts with a vowel. Il y a un enfant. Il y a combien de chiens? How many dogs are there again? And this time there's none. So we say il n'y a pas de chiens, or we can say il n'y en a pas, which saves us having to repeat the word dog in the answer. Now, a couple of little tips for sounding really French. We know our sentences il y a and il n'y a pas. What you will hear in France or in French-speaking countries is that quite often we shorten the words to make it easier to pronounce. So instead of saying il y a, we're going to say y a. And instead of saying il n'y a pas, we're going to say y a pas. For example, if I'm saying or asking if there is a problem, I could say y a un problème? Y a un problème? And if the response is that there is no problem, we're going to hear y a pas de problème, y a pas de problème. Also, when you answering questions, for example, if you answer this question, vous avez des pommes? You could say il n'y en a pas, there aren't any. Or you could say il n'y en a plus, there aren't any more, there's none left. But what you'll probably hear is y en a pas, or y en a plus. Félicitations, you've completed lesson 1. Carry on practicing, and don't forget that you can download the handout for this lesson from my website. I will leave the details in the video description. But for now, au revoir et à bientôt for lesson number 2.